And I'm proud to have another member here tonight who I'm going to introduce, who has been a staunch supporter of law enforcement since his time in Congress. We actually came here together in 2005, and he happens to be a judge from Texas. So Judge Poe will recognize Judge for whatever time he consumes.
Thank you, Sheriff. I want to thank the Sheriff and Sheriff Nugent and all those members of Congress who have served in law enforcement before they came to the House. This is a solemn week when we show our respect and honor to those who have worn the shield or the star. You notice, Mr. Speaker, the shield, the star, is always over the heart, and it's symbolic of protecting us from outlaws, from criminals, that they stand, law enforcement stands between us and those that would do us harm. And that's why they wear the shield or the star over their heart, because they will give their lives and have for the rest of us, protecting us from those do-bads out there. I served as a prosecutor in Houston, Texas for 8 years, and then 22 years in a criminal court, all kinds of cases. And I met a lot of police officers. I still know a lot of them. And they are certainly a rare breed that would do what they do. Most Americans couldn't go on patrol one day and do what they do. And they are to be admired. We honor those that have died last year, but we honor those that have died in previous years. And some in America don't realize that the Capitol Police protect us around the Capitol. And 2 Capitol Police officers in 1998, John Gibson and Jacob Chestnut, in the Capitol, gave their lives protecting members of Congress. We should remember them. Last year, 128 peace officers were killed in the United States. 11 of those were females. 12 were killed in Texas, the highest of any state. There are also 2 canines who were officers that were killed in Texas. 3 of those that were killed were from my hometown of Houston, Texas. Darren Goforth of the Sheriff's Department, and Officer Troniski Jones, also of the Sheriff's Department, and Officer Richard Martin of the Houston Police Department. About this time last year, there was a robbery in progress. We call those hijackings in Houston, at a service station in Sunday morning. And the Houston Police Department responded. They get to the scene, and they see a stolen U-Haul van speeding away from the service station. It's a high-speed chase. The U-Haul got a distance on the Houston police officers, jumped out of the U-Haul, grabbed a lady that was getting in her minivan, pushed her out of the way, stole the minivan, took off, and is firing shots at the police officers. Meanwhile, most of Houston is asleep and safe. The chase goes on for a long time, and Officer Richard Martin was ahead of the chase. And he got his patrol car far enough ahead that he jumped out of the car and he put spikes in the road to stop this outlaw from getting away. The outlaw sees Richard Martin, veers off the road and hits him and kills him, and keeps driving for 20 miles before the Houston Police Department stopped him. Richard Martin, 47. He had only been a peace officer for 4 years. He had other careers before that, including serving in the United States Air Force. He has 2 children. I met Tyler last week. He's 11. It was a rough conversation, talking to him about his dad. As Sheriff Nugent said, these are real people, and they're good people. They're a rare breed, the American breed, who will wear that star, that badge, over their heart to protect us. They are all that separates us from evil and criminals, is the thin blue line. That's it. We either have anarchy or we have the rule of law. And those that want to cause anarchy and mischief and crime in our communities are stopped by the law. That's why we call them law officers, peace officers, protecting us from those that would do us harm. And we certainly should give them the respect and their families the respect and honor that they rightfully deserve, because they make a sacrifice every day. They willingly make that sacrifice for us. Most peace officers I ever met have an extra job. They don't make enough money being a peace officer, so to support their families, they do something else. They work long hours all week doing everything to make an income to take care of their families. And we should recognize that they are the best that America has. In closing, I'd just like to say, Mr. Speaker, peace officers, they are really the last strand of wire in the fence that protects good from evil, protects the chickens from the coyotes, and that's the peace officers. And we appreciate what they have done, and I want to thank the sheriff for his service to our country, especially all those cases that you solved years ago, and I'm sure that the criminals are glad that you are in Congress and not back in Washington chasing them down. And with that, I'll yield back to the sheriff.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for your service, too, and thank you for your staunch support of law enforcement officers across the country. And Mr.